There's a certain magic about old neighborhoods. The sidewalks were shaded by big trees, the houses stood proudly with their own unique character, and no two streets ever looked exactly the same. Every doorway, every window, every little detail seemed to have a story to tell. Back then, homes weren't just places to live, they were reflections of taste, tradition, and even hope for the future. Today, so many houses look alike, simple, efficient, and built to sell quickly. But if you turn back the clock, America's neighborhoods were filled with a patchwork of styles, each carrying its own personality and charm. So let's step back in time together as we look at 11 beautiful house styles we'll never see again. Victorian mansions, Victorian homes were the showpieces of the late 1800s. With towering turrets, stained glass windows, and porches that wrapped around like an embrace, they were built to impress. Families gathered in parlors decorated with carved wood, patterned wallpaper, and heavy velvet curtains. Walking into one felt like entering a storybook. But such beauty came at a price. The intricate trim, hand-carved wood, and custom glass required skilled artisans. By the early 20th century, as America industrialized, people turned towards simpler and cheaper designs. Yet even today, when you spot a Victorian mansion on a quiet street, it feels like a rare time capsule from an age when homes were built as works of art. Shotgun houses. If you've ever been to New Orleans or parts of the South, you've likely seen rows of shotgun houses. Long and narrow, only one room wide, their front and back doors lined up perfectly, creating a straight line through the home. They were simple, practical, and affordable for working-class families. These homes carried more than just families, they carried culture. Neighbors lived close, music spilled out onto porches, and communities thrived. But as modern zoning laws changed and families sought more space, the shotgun house slowly faded. Today, the ones that remain are celebrated as symbols of a way of life where closeness mattered more than square footage. Sears kit homes. Imagine ordering your dream house from a Sears catalog, just like you'd order a bicycle or a sofa. Starting in the early 1900s, that was exactly what thousands of families did. Delivered by train, these kits came with everything: lumber, nails, windows, doors, even the paint. For many first-time homeowners, it made the dream of owning a home possible. These houses were sturdy and charming, and many are still standing over a century later. But as mass housing developments and suburban builders grew after World War II, the mail-order dream disappeared. Today, stumbling upon a Sears kit home feels like finding hidden treasure, a piece of everyday history built with hope and a catalog order form. Mid-century ranch homes. In the years after World War II, the ranch home became the symbol of the American dream. Low and sprawling, with open layouts and sliding glass doors to the backyard, they were perfect for families with young children. Barbecues, backyard baseball games, and quiet evenings on the patio made them feel alive with family memories. Ranch homes represented freedom, space, and a simpler lifestyle. But by the 1980s, families wanted more room, higher ceilings, and multi-level homes. Developers replaced them with larger two-story houses. Yet the ranch remains beloved, its design reminding us of post-war optimism and the golden days of family life. Tudor-style homes brought a touch of old-world Europe to American suburbs. With their steep gables, decorative half-timbering, and stone or brick exteriors, they felt almost like castles for ordinary families. Inside, you'd find cozy rooms, fireplaces with thick wooden mantels, and stained glass windows that gave off a warm, colorful glow. They were especially popular during the 1920s and 1930s, offering a sense of tradition and permanence during uncertain times. But as building materials shifted to cheaper, faster methods, the Tudors' craftsmanship became too expensive to reproduce. Today, when you pass a Tudor, it feels like a little piece of medieval history tucked away in an American neighborhood. Greek Revival homes. Back in the early 1800s, Greek Revival homes spread across the country like wildfire. With tall white columns, triangular pediments and wide porches, they looked like miniature temples celebrating democracy and freedom. For a young nation still finding its identity, these homes were more than just stylish, they were symbolic. Many of these homes stood as the centerpieces of towns and plantations, commanding respect and admiration. But by the late 1800s, taste shifted to the more decorative Victorian style. Today, Greek Revival homes still stand as proud monuments, reminders of a time when America tied its identity to the great civilizations of the past. Split-level homes. The split-level home was a product of post-war creativity. Instead of a flat floor plan, it stacked levels in a staggered way. Living room on one level, bedrooms half flight up, family room a half flight down. For families in the 1950s and 60s, this felt cutting-edge, practical, modern, and efficient. They were perfect for dividing space. Kids could play downstairs while adults entertained upstairs. But over time, open-concept homes became more desirable, and split levels began to feel dated. Today, many survive, but they're often remodeled into simpler layouts. Still, they remain a nostalgic reminder of mid-century innovation and optimism. Colonials with sleeping porches. Colonial homes have been a staple of American architecture for centuries. But one feature you don't see anymore is the sleeping porch. Usually screened in and located upstairs, it was a summertime retreat in the days before air conditioning. Families would drag their mattresses outside and sleep under the stars, cooled by the night air. It wasn't just about comfort, it was about connection. Parents told stories to their children, the sounds of crickets filled the night, and neighbors sometimes waved from across their own porches. Once air conditioning became common in the mid-20th century, the sleeping porch became unnecessary. But for those who remember them, they're a cherished symbol of a slower, simpler way of life. Octagon houses. In the mid-1800s, a handful of architects believed they had found the perfect design, the octagon house. With 8 sides, these homes allowed more windows, more natural light, and better airflow. For a brief moment, the idea caught on, and unique octagonal homes dotted the landscape. But the fad was short-lived. Builders found them awkward, and homeowners preferred more traditional shapes. Today, only a few survive, often preserved as oddities or museums. Standing in front of one feels like stepping into an alternate timeline where America briefly experimented with geometry in its architecture. Bungalows. Craftsman bungalows were the heart of early 20th century neighborhoods. With their low roofs, wide porches, and handcrafted wood details, they felt warm, cozy, and personal. Families gathered on front steps, neighbors waved from sidewalks, and kids rode bikes down tree-lined streets filled with bungalows. But as suburban development took over, people wanted bigger houses with more space and garages. Slowly, the bungalow disappeared from new construction. Today, they're prized for their character and charm, and owning one feels like owning a piece of American history. A bungalow isn't just a house, it's a feeling. Art Deco homes. The 1920s and 30s brought us the bold and glamorous Art Deco style. With sleek lines, pastel colors, and geometric patterns, Art Deco homes looked like something from the future. They embodied the spirit of the Jazz Age, modern, stylish, and a little bit daring. But the Great Depression and practical post-war housing needs brought the trend to an end. Today, very few Art Deco homes remain, though entire districts, like Miami's South Beach, still celebrate the style. Standing before one feels like stepping into a time of flappers, jazz clubs, and the promise of modern living. Old homes weren't just walls and roofs, they were reflections of their time. They carried the values, dreams, and stories of the people who built them. Each vanished style is like a page torn from America's photo album, leaving behind only memories and the rare houses that still stand. Which of these styles do you wish we still built today? And if you could step back in time and live in one of them, which would you choose? If you enjoyed this journey through America's architectural past, give this video a like, share it with a friend who loves history, and subscribe to Heritage USA for more stories from the past that shaped who we are today.